Dear friends, practice operation because it's time for the old switcheroo where we're talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jaymo. Join us on our epic quest to research and review all 300 plus retro games in the Nintendo Classics catalog. Today we are unlocking the secrets of the NES puzzle adventure Solomon's Key in an episode we are calling An Old Testament to Your Skill. If you like what you hear, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, play along. Now, Mike, got to be on your best behavior today. I'm introducing you to my work friends for the first time. Please welcome to the show one of the only people who could make me break a sweat on the pickleball court, my fellow middle school teacher, Alex. Alex, how was your last student day today?
My last student day. Well, hopefully our boss doesn't listen to this, but I squeaked out a little bit early to go play
Oh,
around the golf. But anyway,
you
just like
know,
20 minutes early.
well, don't worry because our bus started the holiday party a little early. So, shh.
Okay.
This is already our most incriminating episode we've ever
Uh-oh.
done.
Uh-oh.
So, Alex, any plans for the holidays? Are you and your brothers going to get back together and play more of these old games?
Oh man, we'll get into that a little bit later, but we had such a blast the other day. He wants me to come back and play everything he has already. We had so much fun.
Great. Well, direct him towards our Discord and, maybe we'll have him on next. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So, guys, I think if we're ready, let's dive into Solomon's Key, released for the NES in 1987. As described on Nintendo Classics, as Dana, a skilled and talented hero, you must strategically maneuver through over 40 stages using mysterious block creation skills and other magical powers. Free the captive fairy in each stage by finding the bell, and escape by grabbing the magic key. Use quick thinking and magical firepower to discover hidden items and evade numerous enemies as you race against the clock. Solomon's Key also features over 10 secret levels and multiple endings you can unlock. Do you have what it takes to unravel the secrets of Solomon's Key? I don't know. That's a pretty good description, Alex, don't you think?
Yeah, what is this playtime? 5 hours and 54 minutes. I
That
mean,
is how long I played the game to prepare for this episode.
oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see exactly how long you've spent playing
I,
it.
lo- I I love it. You could add about 30 years to that, and you got mine.
Yeah, you have a long history with this game.
I do.
So, speaking of your long history, I am maybe the most excited I've ever been to talk about box art because Alex was nice enough to bring me his copy of Solomon's Key so that I could actually hold the freaking things in my hand. And, it's just such a cool experience. I really appreciated that. You have the player character Dana the wizard balancing precariously on suspended blocks, casting a spell, and clutching a key while the dreaded demon-headed enemies attack in waves. Pair of fairies watch supportively from the background while the marketing team at Tecmo touts the game's 500,000 sold in Japan. Mike, I'm gonna guess you like this box art.
Yeah, I'm going to start off like the font for Solomon's Key is a pretty standard sort of block font, except the O in Solomon and the E in key have been replaced by a key, and that is just great.
Yeah, what a natural, like the key just forms those letters naturally. It's not doesn't look like it's kind of forced in there. But I also think it really demonstrates what the gameplay is like. Alex, so you kept the box. Tell me how you feel about it.
Well, I actually borrowed it from my little brother, who's just into retro games. Our original copy, man, that thing would have been, who knows where that is? Probably taken to a thrift store or something back in the 90s. But I did go to play with my little brother, and he had the game in the box, so I asked him to borrow it so I could show you.
Yeah, it's like I'm terrified. Like I hope you said I was okay to open it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's just Mike always reads the manuals for the show, and so like for me to actually flip through the actual manual, super cool feeling. I'm very eager to get your guys' opinion on the Commodore 64 release. Alex, have you seen this?
No.
So when this was released for the Commodore 64, very different vibe.
Whoa.
Alex, would you describe what you're looking at?
I wouldn't know what I'm looking at. It looks like something. Yeah, I have no idea.
It
Is
almost
it?
looks like a Harlequin novel cover. Like, because Dana is now super buff and barely clothed at all.
Is it? So this is after NES?
Yeah, this was the Commodore 64 port.
Okay.
which they had a bit more improved graphics, but I also think it's interesting that they've done away with the blocks, and it's almost like they're trying to explain. Mike, do you see in the center background of the Commodore 64 cover art what this is meant to imply?
I think it's meant. Is that meant to imply a block having disappeared?
Or like being created, right? Like
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's so
The outline there, you got the giant scorpions.
yeah.
All of this really feels a lot closer to more like it kind of makes me think of like a Conan the Barbarian kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, one of the things I like about Dana as a character is that he's not physically imposing. It's like you got to use your magic and your wits. So mention on Discord which one you think is better, but I think the first one is far superior. I don't know, right, boys?
Yes, for sure.
Super classic. So Solomon's Key was directed by Kenichi Nishi. We will meet him again when we cover the NES puzzle game Fire and Ice, otherwise known as what, Alex?
Well, it's a prequel.
Yeah,
It's a
Solomon
prequel.
Keys 2. Did you ever play this one?
Never played it. Never played it.
It's on the Switch. It's actually kind of an interesting story conceit because the premise of the game is that it's all a tale that an old woman is telling her grandchildren about how Dana learned magic and went from apprentice to wizard.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's the same character. Graphics are definitely improved, but I think that Mike's gonna really dig this game. I was messing around with it a little bit. It's just so much more precise than Solomon's Key was. And so, speaking of name changes, this game was given a complete samurai reskin when it was released as Zipang for the Turbo graphics to capitalize on the retro-futuristic sci-fi samurai film of the same name. Dana's wand was replaced by a samurai sword, and all the enemies are reimagined as Eastern cryptids like monkey warriors and kappas. Alex, you ever mess around with Zipang?
No, no, never heard of it.
Is that a pyramid though?
The pyramid, which one? Oh yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Are there pyramids in ancient Japan? I don't feel like I've heard of that.
I didn't think so, especially
Hmm.
not kind of that kind of a look to one. It is also interesting to me, though, and I will get to this with the original game as well, that the layout you are showing us on this very much has a Star of David outline to it,
Right.
which is in Solomon's Key as kind of a thing.
It was just a reskin. They didn't change levels.
Interesting.
So some imagery doesn't really make sense anymore. So, according to a 2019 developer interview conducted by Kotaku writer Peter Terrius, the monster design in Solomon's Key was heavily inspired by Midway's Quarter Muncher Gauntlet, which was covered by our friends at the Arcadiology podcast, as well as the Ray Harryhausen film Jason and the Argonauts. I've never seen this movie. Is it good?
I have never seen this movie.
The stop motion one?
No.
The stop motion stands out, I suppose. Like it's very much what you expect out of a Harryhausen stop motion, which is that it kind of has that. It's not stop motion that I think you look at and go, "That's I didn't realize that's not real."
Right.
But at the same time, like I think it still is this kind of thing you can appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. It's like stylistically cool.
Yeah.
I'll never forget I went to a Comic-Con panel for Ray Harryhausen, and I just walked right in because there were seats empty and there was people out the door lining up for the next panel. I'm like, no, 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 cut in. I'm like, well, I want to see this one and I can see empty seats. Can I please go inside? You know what I mean? So I always appreciate good stop motion. And so continuing in the fun tradition we touched on last episode, wherein Tecmo games feature fun references to their other IP, Solomon's Key has an incredibly difficult to find cameo that I was really excited to talk to Alex about, but of course he already knew it. Alex, can you talk about Mighty Bomb Jack in Solomon's Key?
Yeah, I never played Mighty Bomb Jack. But I know, I mean, I didn't know at the time, but you could finish the game as him, or I don't know how that works, but I just fired up a YouTube video and saw somebody doing this.
Yeah, it's really wild. So in a couple of the levels, you can so one of the mechanics in the game is that you jump and you break a block above your head like Mario style.
Yeah.
And if you jump into one block, which by all accounts should not break, it's a steel block, right? Those don't break in this game. But if you jump and hit it 11 times, Mighty Bomb Jack will fly up the top and start jumping around. And when you collect him, it turns every enemy into a fairy.
Okay.
which is pretty cool. Like it's a good way to rack up like extra lives.
I think in the time I played this game, you would have never have known this. I
No.
mean, no, there's no internet to go do that. I mean, I played with a cousin. His name was Mike as well. He was 6 years older than me. When we played the game together, he made you go dissect everything. He would go have
Mm,
you like you would have to search for everything before you kind of let you move on to the next level.
right.
He would pause the game, right? When a new level would come on, and he would like he thought he was John Madden or something, drawing up a play on how we should strategically play it. I think he's part of the reason why I'm such an impatient person. But yeah, he would even draw the levels because that's how he was.
Wait, hold on, Mike. Go get your blueprints notebook. I feel like this is right up your alley. We just guest hosted on our a show called Smashing Game Time, and Mike has a notebook for
Yeah.
one game. For one game.
So maybe it's a Mike thing.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a lot older than us, so he kind of controlled how we were allowed to play the level.
Yeah.
This is the kind of game that kind of lent itself to that, though, in that, like, because I don't think the manual mentioned that you can warp levels.
No, no.
And that was something that, like, I watched a speed run of this, and aside from doing they did the bomb jack thing to get an
Uh,
extra life to kind of have a bit of a cushion. But one of the other things that they were doing was getting some of the warps. And there are things like you have to get up to a certain corner and put a block and then remove a block to get the warp. And it's like, and there's like, yeah, there's no way you figure, like, you don't just find this.
No.
well, you actually do because some of the stuff you would find, we would spend hours on one level just to make sure we didn't miss anything as kids.
Yeah.
So because like I said, you had to figure it out yourself.
How did you spend hours on one level?
I think we really wanted to beat the game, and I'll, tell you right now, never beat the game, but you would just go through and put a block in every open area and break it and to see if anything was there.
What I mean by that is, so the way this game works is that you've got only a handful of lives. You have a timer that's counting down.
Yeah,
When that runs out, the life's over. And then when you're out of lives, it sends you back to the beginning.
correct. Maybe it'd be paused for some time and we would break down the level.
Okay.
And if it was early on in the game, let's say you get to level 7, you would accept spending all your life searching level 7 to making sure you didn't miss anything.
Well, in the later half of the game, you have to be that thorough because, like, I totally used a guide, and if I hadn't, you would have had to made your own guide. But so what's cool though is that so Alex comes up to me in the copy room and he goes like, "My brothers and I would have this thing where after you die, if you like jam some buttons, you can restart without going back to level one." And so Mike is trying to play this game like an honest man, where I use the rewind features and strategy guides and whatever. But so I confirmed, Alex, that that actually works consistently. You press A and B and is it up, Mike, or
Up,
is it start?
Up.
Up.
up. So I played the first. We played this game for at least a year, possibly two, without knowing you could continue in the game.
Yeah.
So one day we go to my cousin's house, and he's like, "I think I figured out how to continue. It doesn't work every time, but here's what you do: you just start jamming all the buttons, hitting A, B, like all the buttons, and you get to start at the level you just died at,
Yeah.
which was a complete
Game
game
changer.
changer.
Yeah.
So then we had like this resurgence of trying to beat the game because
Wow.
being able to continue, you're like, wow, we have a chance. Because without being able to continue, when you're a 10-year-old kid playing this, 11, it was just, we just couldn't do it.
Yeah. So, have you ever beaten this game?
No, and I went to my brother's house Saturday. We played for 4 hours, ripped through, got to level 38, and struggled on that for like an hour. I don't
Ugh.
and was just getting so annoyed. Ended up getting past it. Once you get to level 41, though, it's an easy level. Then you get to 42, a tough level. If you die on 42, 43, 44, 45, all the way to 48, you go back to 41. So you can't die on 43 and stay on 43.
Which is cool because it's like a limitation built into the cheat code.
Correct. Correct. But the problem is, watching somebody play through on YouTube, they could get to level 41 with 15 lives in a ton of fireballs. Let's say you die on 43, you go back to 41, you have no fireballs and you have 3 lives.
Yeah. But you know what you do have? You do have
What?
the ability to rewind on Nintendo Switch, which means I'm sorry to do this to you, Alex, but I Nintendo did beat this game.
Oh man.
Nintendo.
Family computer.
Mike, I'm gonna take a gander. This is widely regarded as one of the toughest NES games of all time. Mike, how'd you do?
So without knowing that I could just kind of continue at where I was,
You're welcome, and thank you, Alex.
yeah,
Yes.
I was getting to level 5.
Yeah.
I'll get into here where this kind of foreshadows stuff, but it kind of covers sort of my take on that. With level 5, where you have to basically get a key and then get all the way up to the top, it was the first level of these that really felt like this wasn't a puzzle.
Yeah.
It was much more action platformer.
It's like reflexes.
Yeah. Especially with the timer. Like I had a run where I think I was like, okay, I've got something working, and I just couldn't do it fast enough to get to where I needed to get to for the approach I was using. And part of the problem was I'd get there and I would often be at like, well, I'm at 1 life, I have 1 shot, and then I'm back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Once I could keep going a bit further, then I was able to get to level 10.
Okay.
And then level 10, I have no freaking idea what it. I was dead so fast every time.
I'm looking at the level right now, and I'm gonna brag a little bit. I hadn't played this game in 30 years.
It all came back to you.
I knew what to do on that level immediately. You got to wait for the fireball to come back down, and you got to block it in. You got to trap that fireball that's chasing you. So, but like I played that level, I don't know, hundreds of times as a kid.
Because I think 10 is the one where you have 2 guys coming straight at you and it's 3 tiers, or I think that was 10.
Let me see. 1, 2,
I may be
3,
off
4,
by a
5,
level 1.
6, 7.
Well, every level in this game has a ton of monsters coming at you. It's really stressful.
There are 2 running right at you.
Yeah.
And you're on the same level as them. And so basically, I think what you have to do is very quickly put down a block, jump on top of it, put down another block, jump on top of that, and get up above them.
Yeah.
And I just, from when it starts, just executing that fast enough.
Right.
Yes.
Was so difficult.
And I was always the youngest. My brother's 2 years older. My cousin Mike's 6 years older than myself. I was watching them play these levels before I even had a crack at them. So I was learning from all their mistakes, getting to level 10, seeing them struggle. I have all the levels on my phone right now, and I'm looking at level 10. And once you know what to do, it's all easy. But figuring out what you need to do, what your first couple moves are. And this game's interesting because they'll throw a challenging level at you on level 10, and then they'll follow it up with like the most easy level on 11. You know, they don't progressively get harder.
What I liked about it is that there were different types of challenges. So some, like Mike said, some missions you start and there's these demons right in your face. Some levels have no enemies at all. You are not in any risk of dying. It's a pure time challenge. And there's so many blocks to break and navigate and climb up and down. And you have to figure out the exact path to take through the blocks. It really is like a maze, you know? And I thought those are some of my favorite levels because it's like it was the least satisfying when I would just mistime a jump. But
yes,
when I'm actually kind of given the breathing room to really play with a chamber, I thought that was when the game. Mike, did you get to any of those?
What do you mean to any of those?
Though any of the rooms where there are no monsters.
The hidden rooms is what they call them.
Oh, are those the hidden ones only?
Yeah, you got to get a hidden shrine, and then that gets you to the hidden levels. I think the point of the hidden levels are to let you build up your arsenal. Like you're low on fireballs, they'll give you a lot of stuff. Get extra fairies. Yeah.
That's good to know because one of my complaints with the game was that like once I was in the second half of the game, I was like, where are all the fireballs?
Yeah.
I had fun throwing these and like I haven't found I don't think I found no, I do think
Well,
it's
you could change those. I don't even know what they are, the blue diamond things. You could hit it with your wand and change it to a fireball if you're short on fireballs.
Oh, the crystal balls can be turned into ammo?
Yes.
Oh,
You hit it with your wand and you could turn it into a fireball.
that is really cool to know because I
Yeah.
kept seeing these crystal balls, and it's like in the booklet they just say that they change the behavior of your fireball. They'll make it go longer, or they'll make it like last, longer on the screen. But that's a cool trick. I like that, Alex.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a trick. I think it's something we figured out when we were 10 years old.
Well, I'm dumber than 10-year-old you. I
No,
can't. You're
just
like, yeah,
no,
come
no.
on, it's easy.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I don't even know how we got our hands on this game because it wasn't a very popular game.
No,
I think the games that I have a lot of play back in the 80s, of course, Mario, that's what came with the NES.
yeah,
We got our hands on Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Oh man, I've played that so many times. I listened to your podcast on Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I was pretty entertained.
thank you.
Disappointed you never seen Rocky movies.
I'm not avoiding Rocky. Look, you haven't seen Jason and the Argonauts, okay? I can
No,
be
okay,
either. No,
okay, all right.
I've never seen that either. But so it was so funny you say this game wasn't that popular, but I was telling Mike like this has happened multiple times in our podcast where I'll see this obscure game, to me obscure, in the catalog, and I'll run into somebody, and I remember it was like I think over a year ago I was telling you about this podcast, and you're like, "Well, you gotta do the classics like Solomon's Key," and I'm like, "Who the hell has heard of Solomon's Key? We got to get Alex on here." And so here we are. So I was pleasantly surprised by this game. I really like the block mechanic. I guess the developer was inspired by a game called Load Runner on the PC, where you had to dig away the level to trap enemies. And the developer of Solomon's Key was like, how cool would it be if you could spontaneously create environment, you know,
Yeah.
instead of just destroying it? And then that's what made this, game come to be. But I think like Minecraft kind of owes a lot to this. Mike, you get what I'm putting down with that?
I don't.
Come on,
I,
Mike.
I don't think so.
Ah, come on. The block creation, and you can use them as platforms or destroy them to suit your needs. I feel like the Minecraft devs probably played this game.
I would not be surprised if he hadn't.
Listen, I know you listen, Minecraft Mojang. Leave a comment.
I mean, it's
Whether you
specific. It's
played.
specifically Notch.
So this was a popular game then. I don't, like I said, I don't know how we got our hands on it. I think, recalling 1988, we had some neighbors and they were going off to college and they just kind of dumped like 10 NES games which were like gold to us.
Yeah.
Because this isn't a game we would have gone to, waited for Christmas or pooled our money in to buy. So I think it got dumped onto us. A quick little story. My mom's second husband, my stepdad, he was a professional motocross rider. He was paralyzed during a race, chest down. So he's still alive. He's in a wheelchair. But the one thing that would bring him so much joy, he was 21 years old at the time, was playing Nintendo with us.
Whoa.
He was a great athlete, and to have that taken away at such a young age,
Yeah.
he got a guitar. His parents got him a guitar, and we would buy him some Nintendo games because he was actually the first person that started to play the game. He didn't work for about 3 years. We'd be at school and we'd come home at 3 o'clock and he'd be still playing Solomon's Key. So, and he'd be, oh, I got to level 17 today. And he's like, let me show you guys. But so there's a lot of memorable times with this game. And that was one of them, seeing somebody who had this bad accident and this game helped him get through some tough days.
Yeah, I love that you shared that because, like, I mean, Alex, we have mutual friends who have shared stories about how gaming kept them company, in a rough time, and I love that games can do that, and I love that you shared that. So, I I was really taken with how this game plays. You said you watched your brothers play it a lot. So was this one of your games, or was this one that you liked because your brothers liked?
I think it was one of those games where like we just kind of all watched each other play. My cousin Mike, he kind of dictated things. He lived in Santa Clarita. I grew up in Palmdale, but he would come spend 3 weeks in the summer with us, or vice versa. And in Palmdale, it's too hot to play outside during uh, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So we'd go in and we'd play we played a lot of Zelda, a lot of Mike Tyson's Punch Out, but we played this game a lot, and it was just like a team effort. Mike would be like, "Oh, you're really good at 7, Alex. You got 7. Steve, my brother, you got 8, and I'll do 9." So
Wow.
it's like once he saw you mastered a level, he would give you the controls. All right, because at the time, not being able to continue, having to go back to scratch was like, oh man, it was really disheartening.
Can't give it to the little kid. He's gonna screw it up for the whole run.
No,
Like,
no,
but I
no.
just love that you're sitting on this. Like, I put me in, coach. Like, I'm ready to play.
Man, you watch enough. You're the youngest. You're like it's like watching. You're like a backseat driver because this game, Solomon's Key. There's a lot of different ways you could beat a level.
And that's one of my favorite things about it is the moments of like I can see what I think they want me to do, but there's a lot of enemies over there. I'm gonna make a little staircase over here where there's nobody, and it's not the fastest way to go, but I'm kind of doing it my own way. And that's my favorite kind of puzzle game. I don't really take as much satisfaction in trying to figure out what did the dev want me to do. And when you let your player like feel genuinely clever like that, it's a good endorphin hit in a way that not a lot of other game genres, I think, can quite pull off.
It's what made it interesting for level 5, the one where you just kind of have there's pretty much just enemies on the side that will shoot firebolts
Oh
across,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
and you
know that
just have to
one.
get up to the top. The way I ended up approaching that takes forever because I had tried to just go up. I'm like, I cannot create and jump on platforms fast enough to just go up.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I need to do something. And I think I accidentally realized that the enemies that are on the side there, if you put a block next to the one they're on, they will move on to it, and then you can remove it, and they will fall and die. And I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can do this, but then I've got to run back and forth and clear out the pickups that are already there because they block the blocks, which is annoying. But like, so like, okay, and that was a very long process. And then I watched speedrunner a speedrunner do this and basically just build a ladder straight up in one go, and was good enough to be putting additional blocks to stop the fireballs at the same time to not like fall and restart, which is because for me I'd have to dodge something, then I'd have to start the whole process over again.
Right.
And it
Yes.
was interesting to see. It's like, oh, I attempted that and could not come anywhere close to making that work.
Mike, did you figure out you could put a block behind you as a fireball's coming and use it as a shield?
Oh,
Sometimes.
clever.
Oh yeah, yeah. So if you go up the right side of that level, you drop the guys on the right by building a block, killing them. But while you're doing that, you need to set a block behind you as a shield. That's the safe way to play the game. But I'm not one of those speed runners. We never played like that because you couldn't risk a life going up the middle. Like maybe messing around, you would.
So I didn't know whether to count this as a Joy Pro or Joy Con because I kind of feel sort of mid, as the kids would say about them. Alex, how do you feel about the monsters, or I guess the demons is a better term?
Well, there were some that really didn't annoy you too much, but there's ones you could jump, there's ones you cannot jump. I think the ones you could jump weren't that stressful,
Right.
but whatever those, I don't even know if I could like identify them. The guys that spit fire like a flame at you.
Yeah, the dragons
The
and the
Oh
the
man,
salamandery things.
or right.
yeah, yeah, you can't jump those guys, and then they kind of pause to blow fire, so they're really tough to get by.
Yeah.
And then there's like the little guys. What do they call it? What do they call it? The goblins, the top right.
Yeah, the little guys that they see. I like their behavior. Like when they see you, they swing their arms like an angry ape and just charge right at you. And so, but
When
I like
you
you
get
said,
hit, it's your own fault.
exactly. That's the energy. It's the Simpsons Bart Lisa fight. But once they don't see you, once you jump over them, they start moving slowly again. But that's kind of good storytelling because like they're kind of dim-witted. They already forgot you're right there. You know what I mean? So
There
like
you go.
that's kind of fun. But then also like I sort of feel like the the monsters kind of lacked personality a bit. Like the ghost, for example, like they don't really do anything that's ghost-like to me. They don't really go through objects or anything. And I just found the fires. I mean, they call them burns here, and like in the game, they just look like a fire. I found those pretty irritating.
It
Yeah.
was an interesting thing that like because the manual mentions this,
Yeah.
that basically like they don't take up the full block they're on,
Yeah.
and so you can share a block,
Correct.
and again, that's where this begins to feel much more like a precise like action platformer than a puzzle. And like watching someone good at this do later levels and how much of it relied on being able to precisely land on just a part of a block was fascinating, but
Yes.
also really crystallized how I felt about the game.
Yeah. Did you know you could also hit them with your? Do they call it a wand? Is that what they call it?
I think so.
Yeah.
A wand, and you could tamp the fire down,
You
and
had
then
to.
you could, yeah, and you could jump it. Like,
I was disappointed that I couldn't just continue to whack him with the wand until it was gone.
Yeah.
Like
That would
there was a little bit in general with the enemies that I think it was frustrating to hit enemies where I'm like, I don't actually have a way to eliminate this enemy
yeah.
to sort of allow the like, okay, fine, I'm clearing things out. And like there's at least one or two spots where like it's like this doesn't feel like a strategic spot. I'm now just going to make a mad rush for it and kind of hope that I get to an exit first.
Yeah, I definitely did that. There are definitely parts where like I would dive through the door at the last possible second, but that felt like a cool escape. You know what I mean? It felt like Indiana Jones. The boulder is chasing you and you just barely squeak in at the last second. I was blown away though to learn that the direction you enter the door matters for the next level.
didn't know that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy, Alex? So there are some puzzles where they say, okay, even though the door is in front of you, take the long way around and drop into it because in the next level, if you start at the bottom of the door, way easier.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
What's changing?
What's changing is where Dana spawns.
You know, now that you mention that, I think I learned that like many, many years after playing that, and I think I forgot that. But yeah, I think you're right. Like, so do you know what section of the door you should go in, or that you have to figure out, right?
You have to know from, okay, I got to the next level, and hey, if I started above the door instead of below it, this would be way easier. So, like the Mike, what I'm mentioning is that, like, the level begins, the cool little star effects, the constellation coalesces
Yeah.
into Dana's appearance. And if you're holding down the left joystick, he'll appear, and then you can just step over onto a platform that's right there. But below the door, you are dropped into the bottom half of the chamber, and now it's a real pain in the butt to get back out of there. You know, and the challenge with that level is time.
Yeah.
You gotta be fast.
Now I got to play the game again. I thought I played Solomon's Key for the last time. I mean, I had a little PTSD from playing just for 4 hours. I'm like, because you see a level, you're like, man, it just brings back nightmares of you not being able to get past that level.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
for instance, I'm going to throw out a random number. Let's call it 22.
sure.
You get to 22, and then you spend all your lives, and you got to spend a good hour getting back there.
Yeah.
It was rough.
But I kind of want to go back and play it again now that you taught me the trick of casting a spell on the crystal balls to get fire ammo, because I feel like that would have made the whole game very different. Because if I could have that, I know this isn't the intended solution, but the fireball was sort of like the oopsie mechanic of, oh, I'm stuck, we'll blast it.
Yeah.
And now my run's not over. I don't think there's any puzzle where you need the fireball.
I think there's some levels in the 40s when you're getting ready to get towards the end that having a fireball is pretty important.
Yeah. Or especially the super fireball that travels up and down
Oh
the
yeah.
walls.
Yeah,
That's a cool feeling.
definitely.
I think the speedrun I saw, I think only used fire had like two fireballs they used on one level, and they're like, yeah, we didn't need to do that, but it was going to be a total pain otherwise.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, a definite head scratcher is the items in this game, because I don't think the items do what you would ever expect them to do. So the items that are in the booklet listed as medicine, they have nothing to do with your health. They either give you more points based on how quickly you beat the chamber, or one of the medicine of Meltona is the bomb attack. Essentially, when you collect it, every demon head and every one of the salamander enemies bursts into flame, and it's really cool. It's like boom, and you're like, oh, that feels great. This level got
Yeah.
so much easier. But it's like Alex was telling me he was watching like a YouTube run, and they were like, "Oh, the fairies! I guess they don't do anything." And you're like, "10 of them gives you an extra Dana, you idiot!"
Well, when you invited me on this to talk about Solomon's Key, the first video I pulled up on YouTube was these two guys playing it. It had a lot of views, like 300,000. So I'm like, oh, let me see what this. Just check it out. And they hadn't a clue what was going on in the game. Like one was like like acted like he knew what he was doing, but
Right.
yeah, you got it all right there in the book.
Yeah, yeah, like that's stuff that's like it would be one thing if they were playing and they didn't know the hidden stuff. It's like that's in the manual. That's told that
Yeah.
is told to you. It's on that level. People that do like did you know you could control the ducks and Duck Hunt? And it's like, yeah, it was in the manual. Stop acting like you discovered a secret. You just didn't read it.
RTFM, am I right, Mike?
I definitely think the monsters are lacking Zool.
Oh, but no, but there is a Dana. If
Yeah,
there is a Dana, then there is no Zool. You got it backwards. I get the joke you're trying to make, and I deeply appreciate it. But the line is, there is no Dana, only Zool.
yeah,
So since we have
because
a Dana,
Zool attacks Dana.
okay, okay, I guess so. All right, okay. You know what? I shouldn't have stamped on that joke, Mike. That was a good one. I'm sorry. Is there anything we explicitly like about Solomon's Key we haven't touched on already?
I like the bold choice for how often we've talked about religious symbols not being allowed in Nintendo. It's weird to me that this didn't mind doing that.
No.
So this does have the Star of David several different spots in the game.
Right.
I was kind of a little surprised by that, and then I do appreciate the constellation thing that they're doing.
Yeah, some of the chambers are themed to the different well, the horoscope / constellation, right?
The Zodiac.
Zodiac, thank you. I knew there was a term. But sorry, continue.
But yeah, that is just kind of like a nice little way of grouping the rooms that I did appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. And it kind of themes it, like it's sort of a cosmic sort of scale sort of thing. And yeah, am I the only idiot who didn't know that Solomon's Key didn't refer to the keys that unlock doors, but in fact it's a key, like a key of terms?
I
That was
mean, I'm not even sure the person doing the cover art knew that.
Right, he's holding a freaking key.
And they put the key in the title, but yeah, there. I thought the manual description indicates what it is.
It does. Yeah.
Because I think there's also like a thing that there's two hidden pages.
The page of time and the page of space.
Like there's a whole thing about like multiple endings, and I'm like, man, I am not getting an ending, let alone many endings to consider one good one.
Well, okay, so this is something I wanted to bring up. Alex, do you know about the GDV? Have you heard of this?
Yeah, they give you a number at the end, right?
Yeah.
Is that based on how well you played? How efficient?
Apparently, no one really knows the exact math that goes into this, but it's some combination of time and the how many items you have left when you beat the game, how many times you've died. But so what's wild about it though is that I got the worst ending. Dana just leaves. He escapes
Yeah,
essentially, and it says he seals the devil's underground. The
yeah.
second best ending is that you suck all the demons from the world back into their underground chamber and then seal it.
I think that's the one I saw. I haven't told this story yet, but my cousin Mike, I think as we got a little older and a little bit better at the game, he took it home and he beat it. And I think he called us and he's like, I beat Solomon's Key. I'm like, yeah, yeah, right. Well, he had a camcorder at the time. This must have been early 90s. He put the camcorder out when he got to like the last couple levels and filmed it for us, mailed us the VHS so we could watch it. And he's searching for it as we like he thinks he could find it.
I hope he does.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it to you when he finds it. He says it's gonna take him some time to go through all his footage, but yeah, I remember popping in a VHS and watching it on TV. Somebody beat Solomon's Key, didn't think it was possible.
The very first Let's Play of Solomon's Key. I'm so excited. I really hope he finds it.
Yeah.
Since you bring up the endings, I do also appreciate, and this is one of the things where it's like, this is the core of nostalgia. A thing that reminds me of a thing I like gets credit out of for nothing else other than that is this whole idea of someone's let all the demons out. Now you have to go capture them all. And as I'm reading, I'm like, okay,
The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Yes, this is 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Like, all I need is some Vincent Price, and we're sold. And I'm sold on this.
It's not good that I knew the joke you were, not even a joke. I knew
No.
the reference you were going for. Oh,
Yeah.
Mike, I know your body. And we're at that point. So I didn't finish my point about GDV though. So it's this nebulous number that's meant to represent the quality of your run at the end of the game. I got the worst ending. I didn't seal all the demons away. I didn't free the fairies, and my GDV was 72. Now, I think a big part of that is that technically I never died because I just rewound every time I died. Well, almost every time I died. But the YouTube video I watched that had the best ending had a GDV of 74. So I'm like,
Yeah.
dang.
I don't think, or I, are you sure that's all that determined the ending? Because I thought the ending's also determined by the like
Stuff
item
you
pickups
get.
and stuff. Yeah.
But so, if the in walkthroughs it says if you want the best ending, you have to go to this corner and get this, seal or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So I don't think it's as based off that score. It baffled me because I think the first one I had was like 47, and that was like not making it out of the first level. And then I was like, oh, I made it like another level, and it's like, oh, I'm at the 48, and then it's like, and then it just kind of stayed around there. I stopped paying attention at a point, but for a while, I'm getting further, and this score doesn't go up. I don't know. I don't know what's up with this.
I'll tell you, playing this in the 80s, we didn't care what your GDV score was.
We didn't give a GD
We
about your
we
GDV.
we sure didn't. And can I ask you, how many times did you have to rewind the game before you beat it? Like,
Ooh.
how many rewinds did you do?
Well, I
All of
mean,
them.
yeah, all of them. I mean, because if you try it on the Switch, it's just two buttons and you just back up a few seconds. But
Yeah,
like, there's a reason that Mike streams these games and I don't, because no one would want to watch me play it. I rewind like every 10, 15 seconds, so
yeah.
I probably will rewind it over 1,000 times in a run. Like it's
Wow.
true madness.
Wow.
But this game's hard.
So I listened to your Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and that's
Yeah.
another game. We have so many hours under our belt as
Oh
kids.
yeah.
I think I was 0 2000 against
Yep.
Mike Tyson as a kid.
Yeah.
I played it like during college, just randomly, and it took me a couple times, and I beat him.
Yeah, you told me.
And it was one of the best feelings I've ever had. And last Saturday, when I went to my little brother's house to play Solomon's Key, had enough of Solomon's Key after about 4 hours. I said, "Let's fire up Mike Tyson. Let me see if I could beat him." And it took me about 15 tries, and I got him again.
My
But
gosh.
I'm going to challenge you to beat Mike Tyson without rewinding.
Yeah, okay.
You
Okay.
can
Yeah,
do it. You can do it. That's your
I can't
challenge.
do it. I
You can
can't
do
do
it.
it. I'm
You can do
not good at these old games. I just talk about them and I get
You
nothing
can.
but grief for it. But I appreciate the vote of confidence. I really do. Well, guys, speaking of vote of confidence, I think you're both pretty smart. So I had a quick mini game minute for us that we're calling Who's That Solomon? Da-na-now. We're gonna find out which one of you is the wisest because the premise of this game is that you are trying to find the grimoire from the wise King of Solomon. So I have come up with a series of riddles for you guys to solve. They're very simple. There's only three of them. So whoever gets the most first is the wisest of them all. Blurt it out if you know it. Ready?
Once
Yes.
again, it's presented a bit as being about wisdom and really is about speed.
Yes, it's thematic, Mike. Okay.
I think I'm being set up here for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I will say I read this to our pickleball friends, Alex, and they were like, "Oh, those are good. You gotta tell Alex those." Okay, here we go. First one. I am wooden. I am not a door, but I do have hinges and keys. What am I?
I have no idea.
I am wooden. I am not a door, but I do have hinges and keys.
A piano?
Yeah, Mike gets
Oh,
1 point.
look at that. Look at that.
that. The band teacher at our school got it right away, Alex.
Of course he did. Of course he did. And he doesn't even have a wooden piano. His is like,
Friggin' poser.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you hear me, Andrew? Okay. All right, here we go. How much does 1/4 of 1/2 of a whole weigh?
One
Nothing.
quarter of 1/2.
Of a whole weighs what, Mike?
Nothing.
Yeah, holes don't have weight. Hey.
Oh man, this can I hit the rewind button in this game?
All right.
Nothing.
Triple points for the last one, so this is still a game. You ready? What is the longest word in John Steinbeck's classic title of Mice and Men?
No clue.
Your mind is my mind, Mike. What is the longest word
Steinbeck.
in John? Oh, you're so close. What is the longest word in John Steinbeck's classic title of Mice and Men?
Steinbeck was close, so
Yes. In the classic title of Mice and Men, what is the longest word?
Classic?
Well, the title is of Mice and Men.
Yeah, and I'm presuming it's not mice.
It's mice.
Okay.
In the title of Mice and Men, mice is the longest word. Okay, you know what? I'm giving
Okay.
myself the point for that one for stumping you guys.
Oh man, I'm dumb.
You are not.
That was some real, like, what have I got in my pocket nonsense. Like, that's not actually a riddle.
Yes, it is. It's flawlessly written. Listen, I'm gonna post it on the Discord. Let me know if you see what I'm going for here. Mike, you won. Why are you besmirching my riddles? You won.
You
Okay,
won. You won.
here's a riddle. Say the word the.
The.
Oh no, you figured it out.
You're such a dick. Oh my God.
That was good.
Listen,
That was good.
Mike, okay, listen, audience.
I did not besmirch the first two.
I need your help on this one, okay? Go to our Discord. We are gonna have it out. Okay? But since Mike's being all grouchy at me, Mike, tell me a joy con. What do you not like about Solomon's Key? Why don't you just keep the hate rolling out of you?
All right. I think it is the combination of, or at least for something that I went into hoping for puzzle, how much of this feels like a lot more in the sense of precision.
Yep.
And the time feels so short. And some of these, like, it's a lot of work to get through. And it kind of, for me, it messes with enjoying the, okay, what's the solution? Because it turns into run and just hope you don't die.
I don't know that the time was necessary. I feel like this game would be just, I mean, I guess for some puzzles, like if it's just a challenge of how fast can you navigate it. But even then, like Alex said, once you know the pattern, it's like muscle memory, you know?
Yeah. I just got to level 43 and we time was never an issue. I mean, we were continuing, when we died, but there wasn't a level where like, time was an issue. Just because I remembered how to play the level all these years later.
Does this game need to be one hit kill? I feel like there's a world where you have like you can take a couple of hits from at least the monsters. I would get if the fire has to instantly kill you because if you could just get damaged and run through it, then now a lot of the puzzles are just broken. But like, I don't know. I feel like this game is really tough and not in a fun Ninja Gaiden kind of way.
Yeah, it's tough.
Actually, I think I don't mind the one hit kill. I think it shouldn't be a secret that you can continue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that changes that up a whole lot.
But here's where learning to continue kind of ruins the game. You just take the fastest way. You don't go exploring the level, seeing what you can get, building your score. You don't explore anymore. You just get the key and you get in as fast as you can.
I don't know. I think it gives you the freedom to explore. If you're not having to restart at the beginning, you can be. Becomes. I think I have an idea that'll work here, and not I just need to scrape by because I'm going to die.
Well, there's that argument as well.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting though, because making you have like these limited lives, it like does kind of force you to make some tough choices because there were levels where, like you said, I was like, oh, I got to the door pretty quickly, but look at all those areas over there. I bet there's a lot of treasure, probably a lot of fireballs. Like I could explore these depths, but it's a risky.
Yeah.
And so it's, am I going to just go on to the next level in the hope that I will get further than I ever have? Or will I take the chance and sort of stock up? That is kind of really good storytelling through your gameplay.
Yeah. I hate that you have a level pulled up right now because I'm just focusing on where the pattern is.
I can get rid of it.
No. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm the backseat driver. Okay, I think this. Yeah.
I thought the final level was just obnoxious. Did you guys watch it?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On VHS, I saw it.
So that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, back in the day. But so like, I mean, first of all, like Mike said, kudos for them for like not changing the religious imagery. I think it makes the game more interesting. But like what, this is the final room, so there's no exit door. It's just the Key of Solomon. And I actually gasped. I was like, there it is, right there in the center.
Yeah.
But it's what I think maybe the only level where there are no breakable blocks. And you're like, what do I do? And so
Yeah.
you learn, okay, well, I mean, I'm sure eventually I would have discovered that no, you break the unbreakable blocks. Because what else are you going to do? There's nothing else to experiment with. You might as well start hitting your wand against stuff.
Imagine getting here with 6 fireballs, though.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but the to get into the actual chamber with Solomon's sacred book, you need to cast your magic block spell on a mirror, which you have never had to do before.
No, no.
There's no way you would know that unless someone told you or you read a guide.
Yeah.
Does that do anything on any other level?
No. Well, at least look,
No.
correct me if in the comments if you know there are other levels that have this. But I was just like, I can't imagine how frustrating it would be to get that close. But then also I'm like, well, that's also kind of thematically cool. It's almost like biblically unfair that you can't reach this godlike knowledge. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm giving it too much credit.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Alex, you're very pro on this game. Is there anything else that frustrates you about it?
I think I'm pro just because of the memories,
Yeah,
from
that's
8 years old to 12 years old. I think I haven't mentioned this yet, but had a NES run from 87 to maybe 92. When did Super Nintendo come out? 91,
Yeah, it feels like
92?
early 90s, right, Mike?
Something like that.
Everybody just started. It was just Street Fighter, Street Fighter, Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
And then my mom had my little brother John, my half brother, and when he was born in 91, so come about 94, 95, my stepdad went and got he found an NES and a ton of games at a garage sale, and he brought it home to my little brother John. And so I think Solomon's Key what might have been in that arsenal.
Hmm.
And so I replayed all these retro games a second time with my little brother. It was kind of like how we bonded. And I think that's why he really enjoyed me coming over the other day, because it
Yeah,
brought him back to his childhood.
that's awesome.
So there was kind of two NES runs for me.
Yeah, yeah. Yours, and then you passed it on to
Yeah.
that's
So I
awesome.
think that's what I love about the game is the memories. But like I said, playing the other day, it brought me PTSD and just I
Yeah,
got mad and I turned it off and I'm like, okay, let me punch Mike Tyson and see if I can knock him out.
right. And you did it in 15 tries. Like no big deal. Like our friend
Yes.
Brian who was on that, he was rewinding too and still couldn't take down Mr. Dream.
So I heard that sorry to change games, but
Yeah.
like even back then there were like Mike Tyson, there was he had different patterns. You didn't wasn't the same pattern every time. I don't
Yeah,
know what they call that.
I think just that, right, Mike? You watch a lot of speed runs.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing about like what you're to get the speed run for Mike Tyson. It matters what order you get because your best performance is not enough if Mike Tyson delays at the wrong spot.
Gotcha.
That is
Okay.
brutal though, because like the timing on some of these speedrunners, it's like almost Olympic levels of like precision and practice and like
Uh,
and so to then have it be a level of randomness on top of that, so you could be at your A game, but sorry, the roll of the dice just didn't work. That's brutal.
Yeah, Summoning Salt's most recent video on getting the time under a certain threshold on that, a huge amount of that is like the breakdown of these are all the possibilities that can happen with the tail end of that fight. And only these you only have a certain percent chance of
um,
being, of having the one that you can actually set the record with.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, like I don't getting back to what you just said, I spent 3 hours or was it no, like an hour and a half watching somebody beat Solomon's Key just last week. And they didn't die. I don't know how that's possible. Like they didn't die. They didn't die.
It's a tool assisted speed run. I don't know. There's some King of Kong stuff going on
The one
there.
that I watched was 14 minutes to beat the game, which was insane.
Yeah. My little brother also said there's an AI like played it and beat it.
Gross.
Yeah.
I like that I cheat, but that's
But yeah,
beyond the pale for
but
me.
yeah, because I think this is like, my gauge for how popular a game is basically how many speed runs have been done for it. And so in this case, there was Games Done Quick has had it once.
Okay, but it still made the stage.
Yeah, made the stage. But yeah, it was 14 minutes, and they're just going through it and talking about how they're having to get to stuff. And it's like, yeah, there's no way on some of those levels, like, this would take forever just to figure out that's what you have to do. It's like this person knows exactly what they're doing, and they're still taking most of the time on some of those levels.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
biblically unfair. So I wanted to do a quick segment before we get to our rankings that we call NintenDON'T or Dat, because just like our last episode on Tecmo Bowl, you can purchase the arcade version of Solomon's Key for $7.99 in the Switch eShop. So, Alex, did you ever play it in the arcades?
I went to a lot of arcades in my day. I never saw this game in an arcade I ever went to.
Yeah, it's interesting because like Mike, I'm guessing you didn't either.
I didn't, though. I think I read some stuff about changes between the two.
Well, so booting it up, it's like graphically it's just a lot nicer. The enemies, Dana himself, are just easier to read. There's some fun animations like you and your monsters will make expressions now. So like when you block, take a block out from under them, they'll get little cartoony Looney Tune scared eyes as they fall to their death. And the same kind of chip tune rhythm, but sounds a little nicer. Backgrounds look real nice. I think that for me, because I'm a cheating bastard, like you can't rewind. You can't rewind in this version. And yeah, you have unlimited quarters, so you can get unlimited retries without having to do the A/B up trick. But I just don't think that there's enough of a difference to justify paying anything. And Alex, did you know that actually you and your brother on the Switch could both play Solomon's Key and pass the controller to each other through the internet? So like right now, I can play with someone in Chicago, and when I get to a tough level, I
You
hand
could,
them and they take
that's
over.
that's crazy.
Isn't that
That's
fun?
Yeah. I mean, I actually I went to my little brother's. I knew he had the game. I knew he had an NES, and I wanted to just play it how I did as a kid.
Sure.
But now that you're mentioning all this stuff, maybe I need to get a Switch for myself. I don't
Yeah.
know. Because I'm a big person on hand-eye coordination, and till this day, I think playing NES as a kid helped me be a better baseball player, helped me
Yeah.
be a better golfer, having to have that hand-eye coordination. So maybe it's time.
I think some of my students listen to this podcast. We don't want them to think that there's like actually benefits to playing that many video games. So
I mean, surgeons play video games for similar reasons. For
Yeah.
yeah, they probably don't play the surgeon game though, the one trauma
No.
center.
I wonder if it would, I don't have high blood pressure yet. I'm sure it's coming, but I wonder if it, raise that a little bit higher because, what do they call it when somebody throws and breaks a controller?
Normal.
Yeah, I was gonna say me. If I'm playing against Brian, it's just I knock the controller out of his hands. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
So, Alex, any other thoughts on Solomon's Key before we get to our ranking?
No, I just remember once we learned to continue, once you got to a high enough level as kids, you couldn't change games because we just left it on the whole time
Yeah.
because we didn't want to go back to square one. So you couldn't play. You wanted to play a new game, be like, and then my mom, if the Nintendo got shut off, you'd be like, "What did you do? We're on level 41 already."
Did you ever do the thing where like you put a towel over it so you hope your dad like doesn't notice that it's still running? Like
We never did that. We never did that. We just would just hide it. We put it where it wouldn't get kicked, and we just hope it stayed on for the next day.
all right, Mike, ready to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, well, that brings us to the moment of truth. We've covered the Joy pros, the Joy cons, and every bit in between. So now it's time to declare today's game as a NintenDo or a NintenDON'T. Mike, can we start with you?
Yeah, I think, like I said, sorry, like I went into this hearing it in the context of a puzzle game and was excited for that. And from that, I found what the game is on many levels very underwhelming.
Okay.
I think ultimately it still ends up as a weak Nintendo for me.
Okay. A limp Nintendo.
And that's because there's enough of it that I did appreciate, but I hit a point relatively quick where this went from feeling like this was a puzzle game to feeling that this was more precision platformer game. And for me, that's where it stopped being fun, and why I hit a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? At this point, I'm not enjoying this, and I'm good ending.
I think you're gonna like Fire and Ice, aka Solomon's Key too, because from just the little bit I played, I was like, oh, this is pure precision. There's no standing on the corners of things. It's almost more like chess. And like, you can move this space to this space to this space, and there's like an order to it in order to get around your opponent. And it's like imagine chess having like half moves. That's kind of what this game feels like. And I was like, well, that's chaos. That's not logic. That's timing. That's frame data, and it's not really as much your thing.
Yeah, and I can think of games like PC games that are close to this that like I did play, but they weren't timed. It was more just you had to make the right moves.
Yeah, right. And that's more satisfying because like once my brain knows what to do, I don't want to be in this puzzle anymore. I was pleasantly surprised by it. I think, like I said, I really like the mechanic of creating and destroying blocks. I think it wrinkles the brain in a really fun way. And it feels kind of like the ancestral forebear to games like Portal. It's not as good as games like that, but I feel like this is where some of those ideas might have originated, or, they at least share some DNA. So definitely for me, I don't think I would ever play this unless I could rewind. I think it would just be too frustrating. But rewinding when I got hit by an enemy took away the frustration of having to do it over and over again. And so I could just enjoy the puzzle and, oh, I know what to do now. Get the timing right. That worked. It removed the thing you don't like, Mike. So I know you don't rewind, but you should. Alex, will you take us home here? Nintendo?
So the pros, I think playing with my brother Steve, my cousin Mike, and then later on with my little brother John, just the camaraderie of like pausing the game, going, here's what you got to do. You got to break it down. My cousin Mike being John Madden. I think just the memories. And the game had to have been good for its time because we played it so much.
Yeah.
You know, I could say that we played Zelda so much. We played Excite Bike a lot. We played Mike Tyson's Punch Out, of course, Mario's, but we played Solomon's Key as much as any other game. So for me, that has to say it's a great game. I don't know if it holds a candle to the games now, but the cons are definitely having to play many years without knowing you can continue.
That's brutal.
It would have been hard enough, knowing how to continue. But I will say when we learned to continue, we brought the game back out and we had a little second run at it as like 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's a good game for the 80s. Probably doesn't hold up to the games today.
But for you, it's a Nintendo.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that. Well, guys, we're going to call that game over for today. The final score for Solomon's Key is a unanimous Nintendo. Alex, this has been years in the making. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And let's get together and play some games sometime. Let's do it.
Absolutely, we will.
Excellent. And everyone join us next time when we'll be journeying into a historic moment for me, crossing something off of my gaming bucket list. We are covering the infamous Virtual Boy for the Nintendo Switch 2. I've pre-ordered my peripheral. I am so ready to dive into the red and black world. Alex, did you ever have a Virtual Boy?
No.
It's gonna burn our eyes right out of our sockets.
Did anyone ever have one?
No, Nintendo's biggest failure, and we get to experience it. How exciting. What a time to be alive, am I right? Everyone, don't forget to visit www.theoldswitcharoo.com. There you can find links to our Spotify, Discord, YouTube, TikTok, and all the social medias you can shake a joystick at. Big thanks to Crystal Fields for our incredible intro song. And please, dear listener, don't forget to like and subscribe. Every click means a lot, and you mean a lot to us. So until next time, this has been the Old Switcharoo, where we've been talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
I've been Mike.
And I've been Jaymo. Game on, everyone.